Friend man like this, 6 months, you never marry me, you never do anything. You go dey date other people.
Even Rose go, ó ti sọ pé kí n fún ẹ ní 6 months maximum pé tó o bá ti gbé kí n máa lọ jẹ́jẹ́ tèmi.
What's the process that you get transferred?
Me, so here go self. Very untidy. This carry drug. What you do in this? Now. These were like basically the different positions I had to take during my time watching this movie Swallow. Like I was just literally, you know, when you have uncoordinated level of expression, like you're trying to express shock, but it's such an uncoordinated manner because you don't even know where to start from. That was exactly how I felt after seeing this movie Swallow. Want to know why I was shocked or what led to me being in that state of comatose? I'm going to tell you all about it in just a little bit as I review the movie Swallow. Let's get into it, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Chioma, and it's good to have you return on my channel where we have conversation about movies, music trends, fashion, lifestyle, my work, and everything I find interesting. And yes, it's good to be back to be reviewing another movie. I think the last movie I reviewed was, I'm trying to remember now, is it King of Boys? I think so. I think the last movie I reviewed was King of Boys, but hey, whatever the case is, I'm back to reviewing movies that you love and we get to enjoy together. I know I'm still owing review of Ghost and the Tout. I've been really busy in recent times, so I've not had time to go see it, but I will see it. Although I was at the premiere, but I couldn't even wait because it was the week of my wedding, so I just had to walk in and out of that particular premiere. But I will find time to go see the movie and come back with the update, okay? Okay. Alright, so guys, today we're going to review the movie Swallow. And of course, let's just start from the basics. You know that when I review movie, I tell you, give you basics, the makeup of the movie, a little bit about the plot and what they did right, and of course what they did not do right. And it seems that there are quite a lot of things to talk about in this particular, or with this particular movie, or in reviewing this particular movie. Starting off, everyone knows that Swallow is a Netflix original, a movie produced by Kunle. When we say Netflix original, it means that Netflix has licensed the movie, so the movie did not go to any cinema. It was just launched on Netflix directly, okay? So the movie was launched on October 1st. I started streaming directly on Netflix. We don't have so many movies like that. I think the first time we had that was Lionheart. And that time Netflix was not the pronounced movie streaming platform as we have it now. And you know, Nigerians jumped on that at the time, and now we're beginning to have series go to Netflix, Nigerian production actually, go to Netflix directly without hitting any cinema. And Swallow is one of those movies hitting the cinema. I mean, picking up from where Kemi Adetiba stopped, you know, it's a new time for Nigerian production, new time for Nigerian movies, and I'm particularly excited about it. So yeah, when I saw the teaser trailer and the talk about Kunle adopting or adapting into movie a book by Sefiata, I was quite excited, you know. I love that we're beginning to have a merge of creativity from print to TV production. I'm that person who wants to see more, you know, creative persons work together, you know, talking about writers, novelists and all that working together to have more movies created out of the beautiful works that we've maybe one time read, because I mean that's what we used to have back in the day. So I was very happy when I heard that collaboration was coming, that adaptation was coming, and it became even more interesting this time to see that, unlike what we have for Oloture, for instance, where the supposed live character or journalist who went into that world was not allowed to be part of the production. This time we had the writer of this particular book that was adapted into a movie work together with the producer of the movie, Kunle Afolayan. So it was a collaboration between Kunle Afolayan and Sefi Atta, which I think is beautiful. So when people have works like that, I don't think they should be thrown out of the picture when they are about to make it into TV production or movie or whatever you want to call it. So yes, that was one of the high points for me. I mean, I felt like it was going to bring a deep level of connection because the writer knows what she saw when she was writing that particular book. So she should be in a best position to help with the interpretation of the movie or the roles now that it was going to be adapted to a movie. So I was happy. And then later on, you know, the whole Netflix thing came to play, and I'm like, okay, if Netflix is going to invest this much in making it the movie a Netflix original, then it means that it should be good. It must have been good, you know. And then hearing about the cast, of course, I was a bit skeptical because I mean, we have Kunle Afo is on this trend of bringing in new cast, you know, or non-actors and giving them their first role almost all the time. You know, he had the trend from, was I think CEO, where under the Kijo, then the bridge or something, we had Chidima, then Mokali, we had Simi, Citation, we had DJ Copy's sister. You know, he has that trend of making non-actors have their first move into acting, which is beautiful. If he decides to help us, you know, discover a new talent, I think it's beautiful. Just like that trend, we also had the same thing with Swallow, where we have Niyola, okay, I think her name is Eniola something, her real name is Eniola something, but Niyola played the lead role on this particular movie, Swallow. And then we have supporting cast like, I can't remember her name now, Rose, okay, Niyola played Tolani, by the way. Rose played, was played by Agu, I can't remember her full name now. Of course, everybody knows Rose in the movie, the lady that did the swallow, okay. So we also had Eniola Badmus, Mrs. Jayosimi or something. It's even hard to remember this name because I'll tell you why later on. We had Chioma Akpotha in the movie, playing neighbors to Tolani and Rose. There was also Deyemi, who I think is just enjoying his season and is beautiful to see. There was Calvin Nkeduba, who also played the drug dealer and all that stuff in the movie. I think Tony was also in the movie. He played Calvin and I think Deyemi's friend. No, I think it wasn't friends with Deyemi, but it was Calvin Nkeduba's friend in the movie. Who else did we see in the movie? I can't remember now. This other man, Tolani and Rose's boss, the man that played the bank manager, and that's not Conrad. So yeah, it's definitely not Conrad, but I can't remember his name. I know it was from way back in Yoruba movies. It was also in the movie. There was Frank Donga, there was Lolo. What else did I see in the movie? Fantastic to also see this young charm of Mommy Calm Down Ayo in the movie. Who else? I think those are people I can remember, you know, that are in the movie. Tolani's mom too, I can't remember her name also, but I know that she's a prominent actress, and of course it was interesting to see all those people together. Kunle Afolayan also played a cameo role in his own movie, role of a pastor, and I'm wondering what is the church scene for, but don't let me rant yet. So yes, those are the people that featured in this particular movie. Again, we had a new introduction. It was Niyola's first movie. She's of course a Nigerian musician, so having her transition into the movies is not shocking, but then is it worth it is a question we'll now be asking as I review the movie. So yeah, the cast, of course, check. When I saw the list, I'm like, oh, they should give us something amazing. I was pretty much thrilled by the people that were listed as the cast of this movie. And then going into seeing the movie itself. So I've told you two things that excited me when I heard about the movie. First, the fact that it's a book we all know, and then Sefiata was working with Kunle Afolayan on the movie. Second, the cast, yeah, I was expecting so much. Third, the fact that it's Kunle Afo, it's Kunle Afo, yeah, whatever Kunle Afo touches, we know is gold. So I was expecting a lot of things. Until I saw the movie, and then for someone who I've not really read the book, but I know that I've checked out the synopsis of the book. I know that the book was, focusing on the society, the misogyny, influence, and shaking off misogyny, or dealing with misogynists. It was also talking about poverty, people thriving to make a living and all that stuff. Yes, the setup was in the 1980s, and we understand what the 1980s was like. Even if you were not born then, you kind of have an idea of what movies set in the 1980s should be like, from the costuming to the set, the houses, the lighting, the color grading. Of course, we know that Kunle Afolayan was going to get that perfectly. The costuming was awesome. I liked the feel and the modern touch to it. Although some I wasn't feeling, but eventually I just had to play along the fact that it doesn't have to be that old or look that old. But then everything kind of worked together eventually while I was, in the mood when we were taking us on that particular journey of the movie. But what is it with that story? Because I have not read the book, I can't particularly say that. At some point I was asking myself, what makes a book qualify to become a movie, or what makes a book qualify to be adopted to a movie or adapted to become a movie? If the book is anything close to what was depicted in this particular movie, then I would say perhaps a movie should not have been made, because looking at what the story was like, we're introduced to Tolani and Rose's life, struggling girls working in the bank, dealing with bosses who wanted to take advantage of them, their personal struggle of making a living, Rose wanting more, getting sacked, meeting another man who she felt was going to introduce her to how to make money. Oh, by the way, there was a Messiah who I do not even connect with her role at all. Rose's sister who owns a salon and then trying the old Italian thing. I don't know, but I feel like most of you might have seen the movie, so I'm not going to go deep into the storyline itself, because I feel like the story wasn't even that deep after all. I felt like the story wasn't that deep. I felt like I didn't connect. Maybe if I had seen this movie as a child, I would have connected and felt all the emotions that come with somebody dying from drugs, because even the death did not make sense. There was no emotion. I didn't feel it. It was too sharp. It happened all too. Everything was just happening at once. And okay, I feel like my review is scattered. That's how scattered the movie was, because I didn't connect to any of the character. Niyola, of course, getting into the movies for the first time, her first role as an actress or maybe an actor. I don't know if you're going to now be full-time or part-time, but Rose was about the only breath of fresh air when it comes to that particular movie. If there was no Rose, I'm not sure I would have enjoyed anything else. Maybe a Deyemi delivered what they asked him to deliver, but even his role I could not connect with, because there was no character development. None of the character was developed in a way that would interest me. Everything was just scattered and happening at the same time. And I was just in so much shock. Okay, now let's look at it in a proper movie. How do I remember a Messiah in that movie? For what it was, I couldn't even remember her. That church scene that Kunle Afolayan was speaking in tongues for us, what did he add to the entire movie? Apart from the fact that Frank Donga made us laugh by getting angry and calling Tolani a bitch. What did he do to me? There's so many roles like that. The team told Tony, okay, maybe because they wanted to introduce Kelvin to Ross, so we had to go meet a team told Tony in his boutique and all that stuff. But away from that, there were just so many things happening that I couldn't even understand, especially thinking about the fact that this is a Kunle Afolayan movie. So why can't characters be developed in a way that would endear them to our hearts. It was like everybody was just acting for themselves. Like, okay, there was an Eniola Badmus. Okay, we know she's a disciplinarian. Her husband is a gambler. She was taking care of her children by herself. The fact that Tolani had always had some flashbacks when she saw how Eniola dealt with her own children made us feel like maybe Tolani's father is a disciplinarian too, because we had a lot of flashbacks in there. Then that scene of Ayo looking for Ayo being in the soccer way, Tolani walking away when everybody was shouting, and then she had flashback again, and then she saw Ayo, and then she brought Ayo. That scene was just amazingly sickening. That's the word, because I'm like, how do you find a child that everyone has been looking for, everyone has been crying about, thinking is dead, and then you find that child, there was no shock, you didn't feel some kind of way, you just say, Ayo, what are you doing here? Don't you know they've been looking for you? Oh yeah, come here. And then you took him back home, and that was it. I'm like, okay guys, like what is happening here? Like what really is it that the actors were tired? Because the interpretation didn't work for me. In fact, I didn't want to review this movie. I wanted to just chill and maybe go read the book and see if that's what the book is, and then do you understand? Because I'm still in shock. I still don't get it. I still even don't know what to say. I just feel like everything was just, and it's really not because this movie has a 1980s settings, guys. No, it's not because it has a 1985 or whatever setting. No, it's because for some reason the story is not solid. For some reason the characters are not solid. For some reason, yes, production is top notch. Moving of camera, cinematography, costuming, lighting, color grading. Yes, but what is all of that when there is no story to tell? When I don't even know the point of watching the movie in the first place? When Rose died on her first trip, and then the death was just a matter of they just showed discomfort in the plane, and then we are reading a newspaper. What is the story? What is all of that perfection with cinematography when all we saw was Calvin going to Tolani going back home, Deyemi going to look for her, and then for most of it I'm like, okay, what's the story here? You know, if I had watched this, it just really felt like a movie that if I had watched maybe when I was 10, 11, 12, I'll probably have watched with my parents, and my parents would be telling me, are you watching? Are you listening? Can you see what will happen if you do drugs? Can you see what will happen if you take drugs? It felt like that kind of story, if you understand what I mean. It felt like a story that would have, a little me would have watched and probably even cried when Rose was dying. But this movie critic of me, can't even stand what I saw, because I'm like, all that tears, I couldn't feel it. All the emotions, I didn't feel it. The storyline, I didn't understand it. Guys, I'm just really lost. I feel like this is more of a rant than a movie review, because I expected so much, and I'm expecting you guys to probably talk to me as in review this movie for me and let me know what you think, because I don't even know what to say. Again, Niyola did not do well for me as far as I'm concerned. At some point I had to tell myself that okay, just see her as a naive girl, a fine face, but she's really beautiful by the way. See her as a fine face, naive girl that was just in a movie, and you just have to enjoy her fine face. That was all I had to, because I don't know apart from that. And I feel like this is the point where everyone has to apologize to Temi Otedola, because for what is worse, Temi Otedola did better in citation than as a first timer than Niyola did in this movie. Thank God for Rose, who would have just slept off, because guys, you get it, man. I don't get it. But again, I said this is more of a rant than a review, because nothing worked for me in this particular movie, and maybe we would have to go read the book or start the movie again to understand. But I'm making this video for you guys to talk to me and let me know what you think about the movie, because I'm still in a state of comatose. I'm in shock, I'm flabbergasted, I am in a state of deep disbelief, because again, what did I just watch? What did I just watch? Anyway, if it was a 10-year-old me, I'll probably have rated this movie highly. Even the whole swallowing and vomiting part until Rose got out to swallow, and then Tolani trying to know how to swallow. Zero, man. Zero. Zero. But that's by the way. How will I rate this movie? Yes, the soundtrack was good, the Africanness was felt, the costuming was felt, production was felt, storyline zero, character development zero, connection zero, acting I'm not sure. Everything was just really disjointed. I don't know if I got any lesson out of the movie. I didn't see any way to even deal with misogyny that they were trying to portray. I didn't see anything about how to deal with poverty. I didn't see any lessons to learn about doing drugs. I just didn't see anything. Like, I really didn't see anything in this movie, and I'm not gonna lie, this me right here is not going to rate it highly. I think I even mistakenly checked the review on IMDb, and it's really bad. It's a 3 point something over 10. And trust me, that's a very, very bad rating if you follow ratings of movies before you see them. So I don't think I'm going to rate it at all. If I drop my number, it might even be lower than the IMDb. So let me just zip my mouth and allow you guys to talk to me and let me know what you think about this movie. Of course, it's something you might want to watch because again, it's Kunle Afolayan and there's hype on Netflix for you to just watch at your own leisure. But apart from that, this is not a movie I rate highly, and I think I'm very disappointed. I don't know what they were trying to achieve, but I'm just going to let it pass until I see the next movie by Kunle Afolayan before I make my decision on what is really going on here. But guys, that's about it. Hopefully the next one will be better, but on this one I close my lip and allow you guys to do the talking this time around. I hope I've been able to write enough. Hopefully I have more interesting movie to review next. Remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. See you guys soon. Goodbye.